What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about how much interaction we're going to actually have with Hogwarts in Hogwarts Legacy. So, I guess how I came about this topic, right, is we've talked a lot about what we could be doing in our day-to-day lives as a Hogwarts student in this game, right? We've talked about, classes and getting in trouble and how do points work and all this stuff, but I wanted to take a step back and trying to look at it, not even so, I went really specific with those topics, right? I don't want to look at as specific, and maybe I want to throw in some worries there. I want to talk about just how interactive, like what are we going to be able to do, or are we going to be able to not do very much at all when we're going through halls, when we're talking to people? How limited or unlimited will the game be? Okay, and we'll see. And as always with these videos, I don't have a plan with them. I have the topic name in my head, and then I just kind of roll with it, right? So we'll see where we go in this video. But if you guys do like the idea, and I definitely want to hear from you guys, both on what you think about it, as well as if you want me to do any other topics, I'm more than open to it. I'll shout you guys out in the video when I do it, so let me know in the comments your thoughts and future things you want to see. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, bell icon, leave a like would definitely help the video out. And final thing, if you guys want to support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, we do have them. They're the exact same thing in two different spots. You get exclusive benefits for supporting us at either of the two tiers. Obviously, no forcing, no threatening you guys with it, but it's there if you guys want to, and obviously we'd be very, very grateful, okay? So let's just talk about it. Now, kind of how I came up with this in my head is like, all right, you play a lot of games, and there's a lot of things in a game where you can stop and look at it and say, man, I wish I could, interact with it. I wish I could open it or talk to it or, I don't know, it depends on what the object or the person or the area, it literally depends on what it is. But I was thinking about that for Hogwarts Legacy and thinking, all right, well, with a wand and with magic, I mean, obviously there's so many things you can do, and there's so much interaction that you could have in a game like this. But what if they did it? What if it's like the opposite, right? What if there's really not a lot you could do? Honestly, that would be one of my nightmare sequences or nightmare scenarios, okay? As I've said, and I've stuck with this since the very first video I made, and I'm going to stick with it until the very end. All of these topics that I've come up with, I've loved, I've enjoyed talking about them. I believe in them, right? I mean what I say, stuff like that. I'm not saying it to kind of lead you guys astray or lie to you, but I've always said, if they do 10%, 20% of what we talk about, I'd be happy. I know that I should not be expecting, and I'm not expecting every single thing we've talked about to come true. You know what I mean? To be an animagus, and I've come up with so many different topics that we've done in these videos. If 2 out of 30 happen, that's great. If the other ones don't, again, I wouldn't say it's not that they know about them or that they don't know about them. I think it's just you run out of time. You can only do so many things in a game, and I would bet on that kind of mindset that they would have. Okay, however. So I stand by all that, all right? If you can't be an animagus, if you can't have a love interest, if you can't go shopping and dye your clothes the right color that you want, the things that we've talked about in these videos, if you can't do some of that stuff, fine. But if you're walking around Hogwarts and what you're allowed to do is extremely limited, I'm going to be pretty upset. I'll be honest. I think in a game like this, it is an open world game. So when you have an open world game, you do have to have decisions, right? How much can you interact with the environment around you? I mean, and I'm not dissing them or diminishing the value by saying it could be smaller than other things. Hogwarts definitely is big, and if they want to flesh it out fully in the right way, they can make enough of Hogwarts. And yes, there is going to be more than just Hogwarts, but for specifically, I guess, to kind of narrow it down a little bit, that's what I'm talking about, right? Hogwarts is very big, but it could also, if they chose it to be, right, it could be very limited in what you're able to do. You may not be able to talk to portraits on the wall. You may not be able to pull pranks on your teammates, on your classmates, right? Those are things that are very up in the air, and it's also opinionated. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I would just imagine, I don't know exactly how the game would be set up, but I would hope and imagine that you're going to have free time or an ability of some sort to be able to walk around the halls of the school and kind of just do your own thing, right? Get into fights, and fights meaning even magic fights, right? Talk to people, talk to non-alive people, talk to creatures, talk to portraits. Now that's a lot of talking, right? And that's an aspect of it. How much will we be able to talk? Well, hopefully, considering we're in 2021 and the game comes out in 2022, I'm hoping it's a game where a lot of the people that you run into, a lot of them you can talk to. I've been replaying the Mass Effect games, and I'm happy with what and that was obviously a long time ago. I mean, Mass Effect 2 was Mass Effect 3 was 2012. Mass Effect 2 was 2010, okay? So they're old, but I mean, even in those situations, when you go on, like, the Citadel, there's a lot of people. Most of them you can't talk to, okay? But most of them you could also hear conversations when you walk by. I kind of like that. That was obviously a thing that I think got, created in the last, like, 10, 12, 14 years, where just because you can't talk to everybody doesn't mean that they can't, like, have lives. They can feel like they're doing something, right? And what have I always said for Hogwarts Legacy? I want it to feel alive. I want it to feel like these people are doing something when I'm not there. I talk about that actually with every open world game. Hogwarts Legacy, obviously, specifically, I want that. So, I'm not expecting, to make it clear, I'm not expecting to talk to every single person, okay? So, again, if you look at Mass Effect, some people are your main characters, and they will have a lot of conversation, like, choices you can make. Then there'll be other characters where you can talk to them, you can press X, you can press A, you can talk to them, but they're very limited in what they'll be able to say to you, right? Because you're not designed, or they're not designed to talk to for a long time. Then you'll have everybody else, which is like, okay, they're there, you want to make them as lifelike as you can, but they're not going to interact with you, all right? That's what I expect for Hogwarts Legacy, just kind of enhanced, because again, I'm only comparing it to a game that's 10 to 12 years old, right? I obviously want it to be different for Hogwarts Legacy. So talking is one thing, and honestly, same thing. I would use the same principles for interaction in terms of everything else. So, like, using magic, do I expect to look at every single particle on the wall and, like, pull off different particles on a wall? No. You know what I mean? I don't, not every, if there's, like, a dust, if there's, like, a spider web and on, like, a wall, do I expect that my wand should be able to interact with it? No, okay? It could just be for looks. But, like, I want there to be almost, again, tiers of things. There's something that you can do, or there's some things you can do a lot, like, magic-wise with them. There's some things that you can interact a little bit, but, again, it's not meant to be spent too much time on. You're not supposed to be, like, focusing on it. And then there's other things that are simply for looks. Again, the issue or the worry, but not even this. Again, like, I'm not honestly all that worried. It's just something that maybe concerned, like, it's in my head, but it's not, like, taking over my whole body, right? Is that the stuff that has little impact besides visual look, if that grows too much, where that's kind of everything and you're not actually doing much in the world, that's obviously a problem, right? It's an open world. You need to be able to do things. You need to be able to talk to people. You need to be able to interact with them with spells. You need to be able to go into rooms. That's another thing with games like that. I mean, open world games, right? Buildings. I've said it before. I would love a GTA game one day, and I don't know when we would get it, but a GTA game where you can literally go into any building in the entire city, and it'd have to be some sort of procedural generation in order to get that to work, right? But I would love that. And I would love it done well. Am I expecting to go into every single nook and cranny and room in Hogwarts? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I expect to go into, like, a fair amount. You know what I mean? If I see, like, room after room after room, and they're just kind of like those flat effects where it's like they're just there to look at, you can't actually interact with them. Again, it's understandable. I'm not expecting every single room to be, I don't expect to interact with every single thing. But if it's if it starts to become too much, obviously that's a problem. So, that's off the top of my head, okay? I definitely want to hear from you guys again. I can go more in depth, with this if you guys want me to in future videos. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How much detail basically will be put into this? How much do you expect to interact with the world? How little? Anywhere in between? Let me know. Again, if you want me to do any other topics, obviously we're in still a lull for this game. So if there's anything you guys want me to discuss, leave it in the comments. I can definitely, look into them. I can make videos on them. I'll shout you guys out. Let me know. As always, again, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon, leave the like. If you guys, again, want to support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, Patreon, links in the description, and then YouTube memberships, the join button is next to the subscribe button, okay? Thank you guys for watching. More Hogwarts Legacy videos every 5 or so days. We still have the collabs. We still have interviews. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.